Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Haribo! Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Nittai Gaura Haribo, 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 Nittai Gaura Haribo. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Devamrita Swami Maharaj Ki. Okay, so now we're going to do the homages.
Hare Krishna. I first met His Holiness Devamrita Swami in the winter of 98. A god brother of mine, Mahavan Prabhu, convinced me to go to the temple with him and Munichari. And I remember I was chanting japa up and down in Auckland, the old temple there, just in the driveway. And I felt something to my left, and I looked up, and Guru Maharaj was standing there. And Kaila Tirtha behind him. Guru Maharaj had just been on the altar. We had arrived just after Mangalati. And we stood there locked in a gaze for a couple of seconds, and then Guru Maharaj smiled at me, and I went, wow. I've never seen a smile like that before in my life. And I just remember thinking, who was that person? That was amazing. And then I went to a few loft programs that His Holiness Devamrita Swami had put on, and came to know us there in Cambridge, Mahavan and myself. And he graciously came and stayed with us there, and we talked at length about devotional life, and basically made us feel very enthusiastic about spiritual life. And I can remember we had this 3-person kirtan, and Guru Maharaj, we had no musical instruments. We were such neophytes. We didn't have anything. And Guru Maharaj was just clapping on the couch, and we were all jumping, and I was jumping and touching the ceiling. And we were in so much ecstasy just hearing the holy name from a pure devotee. And I decided that I should go and live on the farm. And I was there for some time, and Guru Maharaj would frequent there. And I remember one day thinking, now I haven't seen him for a long time, he's been away, and I think he'd been in Russia or the Ukraine or somewhere. for quite some time, traveling. And I was chopping up some wood with a chainsaw, and I felt that feeling again behind me. And as I got up, I turned around, and Guru Maharaj was right there with the car, and he goes, "Craig!" And I was just thought, oh my gosh. And he smiled at me and he said, "You're still here!" And I remember that feeling, just like, as we all feel, he cares so much for us, as he cares for so many other people. And it's just amazing. And I'd like to thank you, Guru Maharaj, for caring for me. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Krishna Katha Prabhu.
Dear Guru Maharaj, all glories to you on this auspicious occasion of your Vyasa Puja. We all know the famous statement of our beloved Founder-Acharya Srila Prabhupada. He said, if he had any success, that is because he blindly followed the instruction of his spiritual master. I was recently hearing your lecture in which you mentioned that Srila Prabhupada said, if one simply studies Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, he'll be able to preach Krishna consciousness all around the world. We can see practically how you have followed Srila Prabhupada's blindly in this instruction, and you are one of the very few gurus in ISKCON who travels to every continent in the world. Guru Maharaj, thank you for showing us the standard of following one's spiritual master. In one other lecture, you had mentioned that after the Chaitanya Charitamrita printing marathon finished, of which you were an integral part, Srila Prabhupada wrote a letter that everyone who is part of this marathon will return home back to Godhead. We know that many devotees were part of that marathon. However, unfortunately, many of them are not in ISKCON anymore or following Srila Prabhupada. So Gurudev, you are one of the few who held the ticket in your hands which Srila Prabhupada gave you. All glories to you to again show us by example what it means to get Guru's mercy. One has to hold on to the mercy given. Similarly, I've been very grateful to get your mercy on many occasions. Please bless me that I can hold on to that ticket till the end of my life. Your servant, Krishna Katha Das.
Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. As per the purport of Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Text 21, Krishna sends his representative, the spiritual master or pure devotee. This is also the planned activity of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They come to canvas and educate us, and thus a person in the illusory energy of the Supreme Lord gets a chance to mix with them, talk with them, and take lessons from them. And somehow or other, if a conditioned soul surrenders to such personalities and by intimate association with them chances to become a Krishna conscious, he's saved from the material conditions of life. Gurudev, I thank you for bestowing upon me your precious association and time. I beg at your lotus feet that I may one day surrender to you. Your servant, Bhagavad Gita Das.
Dear Gurudev, first of all, thank you, Gurudev, for accepting to have a live Vyasa Puja in Melbourne. It's a very rare opportunity. It's Bimal Prabhu's Prasad's ardent desire to coming true. I wish I had a desire like this in my heart. I wish I could write a homage to you, Gurudev, at least 1% in depth from my heart. How you glorify Srila Prabhupada. Well, it's still at dream stages. I realize only by your mercy I'll be able to make any of these above my wishes come into reality. Life has been a little bit hectic for me within the past year. I used to wonder how you used to manage time in an expert manner, balancing so many Krishna conscious activities throughout the year. how you use Krishna's energy in an expert manner personally to help so many trapped souls in the clutches of Maya like me. Thank you, Gurudev, for all these years being present in my life, either through your lectures, emails, and personally. I realize to a certain degree that without your presence, I will not be present here or in Krishna consciousness. Still learning to be a disciple of Vaishnava.
Radha Sangha Mataji.
Dear Guru Maharaj, when I was today looking for a fresh inspiration to say something or pull something out of my heart, I just opened this book and I read the sentence, "Our good fortune is measured by our connection with someone greater than us," like a bona fide, like a line or a bona fide spiritual master, or a bona fide line of spiritual master. And then even when we are not fully conscious, because we are so small, such a small sleeping souls of that greatness and a connection, we are still greatly fortunate. Today, I just want to say thank you, for you are my great fortune. My strength in Krishna consciousness depends only on you. All the blessings that came to me in so many ways, through so many persons, came only because of you. In other words, I'm aware that you are my life and soul. I mentioned in the written offering that very inspiring Gopi Gita verse that Gopi said to Krishna. But when I hear those words, that is exactly how I feel in my connection with you. Your auspicious appearance vanquishes the distress. Our minds long for your association. Your servant desperate to awaken to reality, desperate for bhakti.
Gopeshwari Mataji.
Thank you. Dear Guru Maharaj, as a child growing up in South Africa, I remember long sunny afternoons sitting with our maid as she recounted stories of her distant family in the heart of the US Bible Belt. With glistening eyes, her generous-sized body would bob up and down as she would describe colourful scenes of a lively congregation in America's deep south. Her gap-toothed smile would broaden as she spoke of a soulful minister who would sing with upraised arms in glory to God, his joyful African-American parishioners spontaneously jumping atop the church pews while shouting, "Praise the Lord!" I would lie on the grass as she spoke and dream of visiting such a place, of being in the midst of such spirited people, and of meeting such an inspirational leader. Gurudev, you are that vivacious singing preacher I dreamed of meeting as a child. Thank you that despite my faults and mistakes, thank you for allowing me to be one of those privileged parishioners who dances arms upraised to the powerful oomph of your uproarious praise of Krishna. Witnessing your heart and mind uninhibitably celebrate Krishna through the medium of your body is truly an out of sight, truly an out of this world sight for this world-weary soul. I pray that I may be able to bind my gratitude to this offering. Thank you, thank you, thank you for allowing me the daily privilege of celebrating Krishna's holy name. I pray that I may be able to do your gift justice and pay it forward, someday offering others the opportunity as you have so freely offered me. Thank Krishna for leading you to me. Thank Krishna for leading me to you. And thank you, Devamrita Swami, for leading me to Krishna. Your grateful, aspiring personalist and servant, Gopeshri Dasi.
Gopavindesh Prabhu.
Dear Guru Maharaj, I have no qualification to write about your glories. Still, let me take this opportunity to speak a few words for my purification and your pleasure. The words emanating from your mouth are purifying and nectarine. They are filled with compassion that drives through the coverings of illusion and insensitivity. You are a scholar of Shastra and many contemporary material fields. You know all details. You have edited many Srila Prabhupada's books and Goswami literatures. However, you just speak for the audience, gauging their level and need, and this takes a lot of compassion. The spiritual master gives initiation, Diksha, to his disciple into the unbroken chain of disciplic succession. And the process is attributed with impartation of spiritual knowledge and dissipation of karma accumulated over many lifetimes for the benefit of the conditioned disciple. That explains the word Diksha. Gurudev, you have done the greatest favor by accepting me under your shelter. Nevertheless, you are doing even more favor for us by constantly caring for us. Spiritual master, by definition, gives spiritual guidance. If so, how about in this fallen age when disciples' spiritual lives are intertwined with complexities derived from families, work, society, and one's own mind, cluttered with unlimited Kali Yuga impressions? You enter into the convoluted problems of our lives, yourself still being aloof, and unentangle us with the real knowledge, Divya Gyan. The impartation of spiritual knowledge is not a one-time act, but a constant revelation through your instructions and realization within by your mercy. You are kind to hear problems of your followers resulting from any degraded activities and give a Krishna-conscious solution without making one feel too guilty to rise above the shortcomings. Our philosophy is about personalism, and you exemplify this by being most personal to us in your dealings. I still remember one of my godbrothers was facing some difficulties and was reluctant to take your guidance wholeheartedly. And then you mentioned to him, kindly allow me to serve you as your spiritual master. How could a spiritual master be more personal than this? Without your care, what hope do we have? You see the potency in us to be a true devotee. You envision how our feeble skills could be used in Krishna service. You want to see your followers getting the highest benefit. You fan even a tiny spark of enthusiasm. You give us confidence, and you dispel the delusion of false ego. What you mean to us is more than any formal relation that we ever had. What you mean to us is our spiritual father. What you mean to us is our real well-wisher. What you mean to us is one who knows our heart. What you mean to us is one who really cares for us. And what you mean to us is our true shelter. It is a dichotomy that the spiritual master is so qualified and a disciple like me is so unqualified. How could such a mismatch bear fruits? In this disqualification, only could your mercy make a difference. I would like to mold my life to serve you in the best way that pleases you. Your servant, Gopavindesh Das. I have an offering from Sri Gaura Prabhu. He has sent from Sri Lanka and requested to read in front of you. So Sri Gaura Prabhu writes, Dear Guru Maharaj, today disciples of yours are celebrating 63rd Vyasa Puja. I am very happy that in Melbourne they are celebrating your live Vyasa Puja, but I am unable to present physically. But my mind is always thinking of you, and today I am especially thinking of you as I am missing you. O Venerable Vaishnava, O Ocean of Mercy, be merciful unto your servant. Give me the shade of your lotus feet and purify me. I hold on to your lotus feet. I do not find the strength to carry on alone the Sankirtan of the holy name of Hare. Please bless me by giving me just one drop of faith with which to obtain the greatest treasure of the holy name of Krishna. Whenever I see you, you always said to me that you and me are of same age. Of course, same age, but you are in the spiritual point of view. You are far away from me and very closer to Lord Sri Krishna. So please pick me as your eternal servant to take care of your daily needs. Please make this servant of yours an instrument in your mission. I hope you will accept this humble offering and bless me so that I can remain your obedient servant birth after birth. Maharaj, without your permission, because of the affection which I have with you, I am celebrating your Vyasa Puja first time in Colombo, Sri Lanka, with a couple of Colombo ISKCON devotees. Please bless me, your humble servant forever, Sri Gaura Das.
Nanda Mandir Prabhu.
Dear Guru Maharaj, the process of devotional service consists of 9 items, of which the second is kirtanam, or chanting or glorifying. Glorification of the devotee is more important than glorifying the Lord directly. The Lord himself confirms this in the Srimad Bhagavatam 11:19-21. Mad Bhakta Puja Bhyadika. Krishna finds the greatest pleasure in worshipping his devotees. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, we see how Krishna himself worshipped his own devotee Sudama, the Brahmana, who was very poor. Therefore, what to speak of us? Vyasa Puja affords us this wonderful opportunity to glorify you. On this occasion, I'm making this childish attempt for my own purification. How do we know who is the spiritual master? Lord Chaitanya told Mukunda in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya 1517, quote, "A spiritual master is one who awakens devotion to Krishna," end of quote. We can see this in you. By your intense traveling and preaching all over the world, you are rekindling the spark of devotion which is lying dormant in the hearts of the conditioned souls. As Srila Prabhupada mentions in his purport to Srimad Bhagavatam 10:31, quote, "The duty of the spiritual master is to find the means, according to the time, the circumstances, and the candidate, by which one can be induced to render devotional service, which Krishna accepts from a candidate who wants to be successful in going back home, back to Godhead. After wandering throughout the universe, a fortunate person within this material world seeks shelter of such a guru or acharya who trains the devotee in the suitable ways to render service according to the circumstances, so that the Supreme Personality of Godhead will accept the service. This makes it easier for the candidate to reach the ultimate destination." End of quote. When I read this purport, you immediately came to my mind. The first big step in preaching is to attract the conditioned souls. You have expertly done this by opening centers like the Loft, which are all about outreach, hospitality, cultivation, and care. The next big step then is to engage the devotee in Krishna consciousness for the rest of their life. You're very expertly doing this by understanding their psychophysical nature, where they are at, and finding the appropriate means and service for them. You have many times repeated in your lectures what Srila Prabhupada said, quote, "Krishna consciousness should always be a challenge," end of quote. You have taken up so many challenging services in Srila Prabhupada's mission to the extent of even risking your own life. You quite often challenge your disciples in Krishna's service, thus making us depend on and take shelter of Krishna. I'm very grateful to you for giving me a challenging service. The mercy of the spiritual master is critical to the disciples' advancement. Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado, yasya prasadat nagati kutopi. Quote, by the mercy of the spiritual master, one receives the benediction of Krishna. Without the grace of the spiritual master, one cannot make any advancement. I should always remember and praise the spiritual master. At least 3 times a day, I should offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of such a spiritual master. We meditate on the Guru at least 3 times a day while chanting the Gayatri Mantra, but ideally, we should always think of the spiritual master by being absorbed in his mission of spreading Krishna consciousness. I would like to thank you for all your love, affection, and care. Of course, the best way I can try to repay my debt to you is by sharing with others what you have shared with me. I pray for your mercy that I can be a sincere soul and take all your instructions seriously. Your aspiring servant.
Brahmagun Prabhu.
Dear Gurudev, this offering is both from Bhaktilata and myself. Just as a child takes things for granted and doesn't understand the sacrifices, difficulties parents go through to support and care for the child, similarly, we can never understand or estimate the sacrifices and arrangements you are making to support us and help us grow spiritually. While being with you during the last Kartik month, you realized that Bhaktilata and myself, we were not doing the Damodar prayers. You asked me if we were doing the prayers. I replied, no Gurudev, we are not doing it. You said, at least sing the prayers in the evening. But next day when I saw you, you told me, I have arranged for you both. You can come with me to the Damodar Ashtakam. I was immediately thinking, if we stay connected with you in service, maybe one day you will say, I have arranged for you. You both can come with us. You both can come with me to Vrindavan. We pray that we never leave your lotus feet and always be under your shelter. One time when Prabhupada's health was not so good, devotees were asking him to rest and take care of himself. Prabhupada replied back to the devotees that if I take rest, then who will take care of you? You are carrying the same mood as Prabhupada, tirelessly traveling around the world and taking care of others. You are so determined and focused to please Prabhupada by spreading Krishna consciousness to the world that you think nothing of the difficulties and austerities you go through in doing so. Any obstacles or challenges that come in your path, you consider them insignificant. You have taken on this magnanimous task of Lord Chaitanya and accepted the responsibility to help us on behalf of Prabhupada. Not an easy task, considering you are dealing with degraded Kali-yuga people. We are full of ignorance and not very appreciative of your efforts and concern for us. Even though we often cause you pain, you continue to selflessly take care of us and always think of our benefit. You know us better than we do ourselves and know what we need, even though we may be saying or asking for something else. What qualifications we have to be in Krishna consciousness, but by the mercy of devotees, we have come in contact with you, and now you are carrying us in your boat of mercy. You are training us and engaging us in activities to make sure that this human life does not go waste. If it weren't for you, what hope do we have to be engaged in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan movement, the highest welfare work? We can never repay back an iota of what you have done for us, but hope that in spite of all our inabilities and disqualification, you will continue to train us and allow us to be with you. Your insignificant service, Brahmakund Das and Bhaktivedanta Devidasi.
Bhakti Sar Prabhu.
Dear Gurudev, Vaishnavas are known for their compassion. Srila Prabhupada left Vrindavan out of compassion to bring Bhagavad Dharma to the Western world. Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur has sung, O he Vaishnav Thakur, Doyara Sagar, E Dase Koruna Kori. Gurudev, you hold an immeasurably deep ocean of compassion, Doyara Sagar, in your heart. As an offering, please accept few analogies describing this most wonderful ocean. On a hot summer day, people approach ocean to get relief. To get relief from the heat of material existence, people seek the ocean of compassion. The waves and tides on the surface can be considered as your generous dealings with neophytes. Advanced devotees can dive deep in this ocean and can find pearls which can be compared to the innovative plans and strategies that you make to illuminate suffering masses. If someone attends your powerful kirtans, it is just like surfing on a giant wave. Inspired by you, when your disciples and followers preach, they make similar sounds as those of the waves hitting big rocks on the shore. When the ocean is exposed to sun, clouds are formed. Similarly, when this mercy ocean is glanced by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the clouds formed can be likened to the devotees who perform Sankirtan. When these clouds pour water on dry land, they relieve conditioned souls from the scorching heat of threefold miseries. But when the clouds pour rain on the ocean, it's like when the devotees approach you to share their Sankirtan experiences and nectar stories. Innumerable rivers that flow into this ocean are the continuous reciprocations that you get from Mahaprabhu and his associates. When different spiritual emotions combine in your heart, you feel unceasing ecstasies, which are like whirlpools. And when you want to share these ecstasies with others, it's like the cyclone hitting the shore. When you chastise a disciple with your deep rumbling voice, it is like a tsunami in the ocean of compassion. The great destruction brought about by this tsunami is the destruction of pride and material conditioning. There are millions of fishes swimming in the ocean of compassion. They are like countless realizations that you have. Generally, fishing is considered sinful, but fishing in the ocean of compassion is recommended. This fishing is like hearing your scholarly lectures and catching your realizations. This is called Vani Sangha. It is hard to describe all the phenomena related to the vast ocean of compassion. My prayer on this auspicious day is to just get one drop of this mercy ocean present in the hearts of Vaishnavas like you and make my life perfect. Aspiring to be a worthy servant, Bhakti Sardas.
Krishnamrita Prabhu and Rasamrita Mataji.
8 years ago, 2 young, unwise, inexperienced adventure seekers packed their bags, left their friends and family and their comfortable lifestyle in Mauritius to travel miles away to explore the country of Australia. Little did we know that all the excitement would soon vanish. We started feeling really homesick, and we dearly missed our parents and siblings. Having never experienced something like Melbourne's winter, the cold weather was a big blow to us. The sky, sun, and sea of the tropics kept calling us back. Few days after landing, we went to Melbourne Mahaprabhu Mandir to clear our minds and to take the blessings of the deities to keep us going in this unfamiliar land. Rapidly, the weekly Sunday feast became our routine. We started to get to know the devotees and once in a while engage in some service. We looked forward to Sundays so that we could come to the temple, take part in the kirtan, meet devotees, and have prasadam. Few months later, we attended our first ever retreat, and we got the chance to see you personally. You were really supportive when we spoke to you. You encouraged us to remain engaged in Krishna service. It was an incredible experience for us, since everything was new to us, the land, the people, and the culture. But amidst all this bewilderment, we got the chance to associate with such a compassionate and genuine person. Our joy knew no bounds, and we felt really relieved and motivated after speaking to you. At every step of life, it was so easy to get misguided in a foreign land due to the bad association and bad choice. We truly felt lucky to have had the chance to meet you and the devotees. But was it really by chance that we got ourselves in that position? You recently mentioned, nothing is by chance. One day, somehow or other, you'll cross the path of a devotee. That statement hit like a thunderbolt. We always had the perception that we chose to come to Australia and live a new life here. But maybe the Lord had already planned this for us. We are merely puppets being controlled by the topmost controller. We had no acquaintances whatsoever here, but He sent you to guide us in this material place. As kind-hearted as you are, you willingly took us under your shelter. Even though we lived only a few minutes away from the temple in Mauritius, and we were already practicing Krishna consciousness, we didn't think we would get the chance to be covered under the shelter of a spiritual master if we had stayed there. It was so easy to get distracted by family commitments, and spiritual advancement would have been almost impossible. Undoubtedly, the Lord wanted us to come out of our comfort zones and continue our devotional service under your capable guidance. We are so ever indebted towards the Supreme Lord for giving us the opportunity to have your association, which is like a precious gemstone. You expertly teach us how to practice the process of Krishna consciousness and how to balance our material life without getting entangled. We greatly admire your expertise and your dedication to follow in the footsteps of the Acharyas. Your teachings are like a time bomb They can explode at any time, and they instantly make us realize how we are wasting our time and energy pursuing material happiness, which is only temporary. Please forgive us if we fail to express our gratitude towards you, your insignificant servants, Krishnamrita and Rasamrita Devidasi.
Dhruvananda Prabhu.
Dear Gurudev, we have been given an opportunity to publicly glorify you on this auspicious occasion of your Vyasa Puja celebration. In preparation for this homage to you, I was meditating on the fact that once meeting the spiritual master, one's relationship with him is said to be eternal, and that the Guru will someday, when we become qualified, personally introduce us to Krishna. Then I thought, what about the past? Was our relationship important before I met you? Reflecting on this, I realized that actually yes it was, but not because of me. Before I was even born, you were serving Srila Prabhupada vigorously. You studied and distributed Srila Prabhupada's books, which are the basis of our whole movement. You then served with the BBT with the rapid publishing of these books. Without these books, I would not be here. In fact, none of us would be here. In contrast to my life, which is a casual, slow trot back to Godhead, at least I hope that's the direction I'm heading, with my biggest dilemma being choosing Burfi or Sandesh as the sun rises over the peaceful temple I reside in. You were preaching for years in constant danger behind the Iron Curtain. All this service done by you, by your Holiness, with your valiant God brothers and sisters all over the world has built this movement. My parents joined Melbourne Temple in 1984, and shortly after I was born. I had a joyful childhood growing up in Krishna's shelter. I had no idea of how fortunate I was to be a part of this movement, let alone the debt that I have to all the devotees who worked so hard to build it under the guidance and empowerment of His Divine Grace. Nor did I know how many hardships devotees suffered bringing this movement to where it is today. Actually, I still haven't truly realized my fortune. At the age of 22, I moved into Melbourne Temple, and 2 weeks later I met you. My dear godbrother introduced me to you. That same godbrother lovingly helped me through my toughest challenges trying to re-establish myself as a devotee. Over the past 7 years, I have always admired the caliber of my God family. Whenever I want to give an example of a good attitude in Krishna consciousness, I usually mention one of your disciples. It is your efforts that have given them their greatness. You have been coming down under for many years now. I'm just a late arrival reaping the benefits. It's quite easy to see how one's life changes after meeting the spiritual master, because it improves infinitely if the disciple follows. But in this homage, I wanted to offer some of my reflections of how actually you have been serving me for much longer than I have been serving you. Everything I have today is because of you, everything. With the tiny understanding I have, I thank you very much. Praying for your mercy so that I can understand properly the Guru-disciple relationship and somehow, someday, do something to repay even a fraction of what you have done for me. Thank you very much, Gurudev.
Yamuna Jivan Prabhu.
Dear Gurudev, please accept my humble obeisances onto your lotus feet on the auspicious occasion of your Vyasa Puja day. I remember some time ago, about 15 years, when I was a part of a yoga society, I used to feel terrible, unhappy and incomplete. I was especially missing the most important aspect of a spiritual life. I was missing the presence of a living Guru and the chance of associating with a spiritual master. And then I met one of my friends who was a tarot card reader and requested for a reading of the future. And he asked me to pick up a card, and I picked up a card which is a card of death. And he gave me the prediction, your life is going to change beyond your comprehension. And seemingly, by the mercy of Krishna and mystic turn of events, I left my profession, job, place, and came to Australia. And finally, I had the great fortune of having your darshan and receiving your causeless mercy. And although initially I read the book Bhagavad Gita as it is by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, which made a lot of things clear to me, it's only after meeting you that things started making sense to me. When I turn around and look back, Over the years, I could see your unlimited mercy. Thank you.
Chandaneshwar Prabhu.
Dearest Guru Maharaj, it is rightly said that a spiritual master saves his disciples from further entanglement into this material world. I have experienced time and time again how you have saved me. I remember during my initial Krishna conscious days how much you took care of me. I was worried about the future of my career, and there was a slight opportunity for me to move to another city in Australia. I was very reluctant to leave Melbourne, as I had this misconception of other temples not being very active. When I presented this doubt to you, you immediately replied, "Who said there are no preaching activities happening there? I have started a university preaching program, and if you like, you can help the brahmacharis there." This conversation touched me so much. Another incident was when I was in two minds about shifting to India or staying in Melbourne. I was seeking your advice, and you suggested that I take a decision based on what was favorable for my Krishna conscious life. You immediately cleared the fog that was impairing my vision from seeing the correct path. Thank you, Gurudev, for saving me from the clutches of Maya and supporting me like a true father. You not only care for your disciples, but also for non-disciples. I have personally experienced this whenever you meet Suvarna Radhika. Your dealings are so sweet that she cannot stop talking about you and glorifying you. Whenever she meets you during darshans, her joy knows no bounds. She feels immensely grateful for all the love and care that you are showering upon us. Sitting in front of you makes her completely protected from all the dangers of material life. No matter how much we glorify you, it is not enough. Please accept what little we can manage with our limited intelligence. We have written a small poem for your pleasure. We sit and reflect this Vyasa Puja day on the infinite blessings you showered our way. Your teachings from the Shastra pierce through our heart. Your illusions and misconceptions you tear apart. You understand perfectly our exact miserable position and show us how we can gradually make progression. Though unworthy we are, you see something useful and engage us in service of Krishna ever blissful. Soothing our anguish, you lovingly glance, keeping us protected from Maya's alluring dance. By Krishna's causeless mercy, your association we receive, and through your faithful service, his lotus feet we will achieve. Gurudev, on this Vyasa Puja, we would like to thank you for everything that you have done for us. Soon a new member will be added to our family, and we pray sincerely at your lotus feet that we can do our service of being parents and offer our child to you and Srila Prabhupada, aspiring to be your servants, Suvarna Radhika Devidasi and Chandaneshwar Das.
Jai Sachinandan Prabhu.
Dearest Gurudev, on this auspicious day of your Vyasa Puja, you stand tall and mighty in your quest to deliver entrapped souls from the clutches of gross ignorance and repeated birth and death. You continue to triumph on all continents, resulting in success after success for the Krishna conscious movement, and not to mention this is continued for over 4 decades. You are the most charismatic, dynamic, and authentic leader I have ever come across in my life. You exhibit true leadership via your actions and words. You are, in my opinion, a game changer. You are invincible because you represent the Lord's mission. Anyone who gets a moment of your association feels uplifted, and this is a rare quality you possess, Gurudev. So-called mundane scholars with their impaired vision and personally motivated agendas are trying to bring about societal change in the form of social or financial progress. Their efforts are only going to result in more misery for mankind. This is where you have stepped in to show us all that reality only exists in devotional service. I personally feel indebted to you for nurturing me in devotional service, imparting deep lessons and demystifying the difference between chasing a life full of material pursuits and a life of contentment in bhakti. Gurudev, words cannot describe my gratitude. and there is no way I can repay my indebtedness towards you. All I can do is hopefully make you proud in some way. To assist you in preaching is the goal of my life, and I can only achieve this goal by your blessings. Please continue to give me shelter at your lotus feet, and kindly shower your mercy upon me, so as I can assist you in your glorious mission. Your aspiring servant, Jai Sachinandana.
Dayanidai Prabhu.
Dear Srila Gurudev, on the auspicious occasion of your appearance, I would like to say thank you. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to serve. Even though I am fallen and have no qualification, you have given me shelter at your lotus feet. You have allowed me a chance to perfect this human form of life, which is so rarely obtained and would otherwise be lost. I know I may seem ungrateful, as though I deserve all the mercy, but I request you overlook this fault and hope you see that deep down I appreciate you and what you do, not only for me but for all your disciples. This is your glory. Your mercy is so great that you can help someone like me to get free from the clutches of Maya. Chakudan dilo jay janmi janmi Prabhu say, divigyan hire prakashito. You open my darkened eyes and fill my heart with transcendental knowledge. You are my Lord, birth after birth. I know I have a long way to go, but I also know that if I just stay in the shelter of your lotus feet and engage in the process of devotional service, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord, then I can become purified. Of this I'm sure. Your aspiring servant, Dayanidai.
Sudhanidhi Prabhu.
Dearest Gurudev, it surely hurts to admit one's frailty in attempting to fend off the various pressures of the world by ourselves. Yet, how can we not feel some sense of responsibility in trying to bring some harmony to the situation? When we see the suffering of people around us, or even those close to us, and are faced with the limitation of our minute powers, we cannot help but cry out for help. But what is the use of calling for help if we do not know where and how and who to turn to? That is why I am so grateful for all that you are, Gurudev. Painstakingly, you have shown us that it doesn't matter how perfectly the pieces of the puzzle are put together. The picture is lifeless and incomplete until Krishna is in the center. It is indeed the most supreme level of science and art, and yet how you wield such art, dexterously applying it to time, place, and circumstance. It is not hard to see that you do all you can, faithfully carrying out the instructions of your spiritual teacher, Srila Prabhupada, selflessly giving out the keys of knowledge to those in need, with a desire to illuminate the lives of our brothers and sisters in all conditions and bodies. While I continue to seek proper solutions both materially and spiritually in my own life, with still much to learn, I have faith that by your mercy these things are possible. You have already completely rearranged our perceptions of life and given guidance in how to engage our energies, that we may become not only purified but compelled with the yearning to give of ourselves in deeper and more personal ways. I pray that I may someday develop a truer sense of sincerity in this regard. Gurudev, please help me to keep opening my eyes and heart that I may realize the beauty of bhakti and be able to share something of it with others. Your trying servant.
Champak Kaur Mataji.
Dear Gurudev, thank you for appearing in this world at the most needed time and place to assist Srila Prabhupada, your Divine Father, in saving the human race. Thank you for your compassionate, saintly, selflessly dedicated life You practice, preach, and live in Krishna all your days and nights. Thank you for your expert outreach in thoughtful and dynamic ways. You are reaching Krishna's lost servants, sharing eternal truths relevant to today. Thank you for your personal Vaishnav dealings, how you are loyal and always there for a devotee who reaches out to come under your super care. Thank you for being my spiritual master, a loving father for me too. Any auspiciousness I may have in my life, it has only come through you. Thank you. Your aspiring and trying low servant, Champak Kaur Devi Dasi.
Kirtiman Krishna Prabhu.
Dear Guru Maharaj, Vyasa Puja is that eagerly awaited day for every disciple to glorify his spiritual master. Although any amount of words is insufficient to describe your glories in full, and I lack the expertise to do so, I humbly offer to seek to offer a few words for your pleasure and for my own purification. Guru Maharaj, I've seen you constantly traveling from one destination to another just to spread the transcendental knowledge to as many fallen souls all over the world. In the process of serving this mission of Srila Prabhupada, you have been ready to undergo all kinds of difficulties, putting your comforts as the least priority. I often think that if it weren't for your selfless sacrifice, what would have been the hope for a hopelessly fallen soul like myself? Moreover, it's not just about presenting the transcendental knowledge, but the admirable expertise with which you do it. You present these subject matters at a level suited for the audience and explain it in a manner that they can easily relate to and take up the process of Krishna consciousness. Very often, I felt that you know more about what goes through our minds than we ourselves do. During one of the retreats last year at New Nandagram, I was speaking to one of the guests and inquired how he was finding the experience. He replied, Swamiji is pushing us out of our comfort zone, and this has really got me thinking about things I've never thought of before. I could relate to what he said, having undergone a similar experience some years back, and over the years, seeing many more experience the same. Many a time when I listen to your lectures, a new aspect of the numerous layers of my conditions gets revealed before me. I'm often left pondering, oh no, that's me, I never thought about it. But the beauty of the situation is that you always know where the cause of the problems lie, and it makes me confident that as long as I'm under your shelter, I'll get over it. The relationship of a disciple to the spiritual master is that of an eternal debtor, and the only way to even make an attempt to repay it is by following the Guru's instructions. So I hope that someday, by your mercy, I'm able to do something that brings some joy to you. I sincerely pray that my surrender and desire to serve you increase by the day, so that I can become a cog in the wheel that takes your mission forward. Your aspiring servant, Kirtiman Krishnadas.
Bimla Prasad Prabhu.
Dear Guru Maharaj, my family has been eagerly looking forward to this event for the past 3 years. And today, the desire has finally fructified due to your mercy. We are not qualified or capable enough to describe your glories fully, but based upon our experiences in your presence, Maharaj, we are placing this humble offer at your lotus feet. Guru Maharaj, in my opinion, your first and foremost quality is that you are a spiritual lion, both in speech and behavior. Yet despite being firm and straightforward in such a manner, your heart is just like a butter and is liable to melt at any moment. This is evident in your many dealings with us. One such example occurred 2 years ago when you were personally present during the occasion of our Gaurnitai deity welcoming. Guru Maharaj, during the course of the program, you accepted whatever proposal I placed before you, thereby completely showering your mercy upon us. You allowed us to wash your lotus feet and offer Harati to you as you came into our home. You performed Abhishek for the deities, sang our Harati, finally even gave permission for us to serve you prasadam. After that experience, we clearly understood that although you always appear reserved and grave on the outside, within you are always joyful, merciful, and happy. Indeed, you act just like a father would towards his children. As well as these qualities, Guru Maharaj, I believe that two more powerful qualities from your character should be highlighted. Firstly, we have noticed through our dealings with you that you are possess incomparable time management and punctuality. This became evident last year when we came to New Zealand to attend the Recharge Festival. The Melbourne devotees strongly desired to have a group photo take with both you and Shesha Prabhu. When you arrived, you allowed us only 1 minute to take the photo. Hence, we clearly saw how seriously you took time. Although, another quality that we constantly see in your visits, Gurudev, is that you take particularly consideration for us and never fail to encourage Krishna Priya and Charan. You regularly inquire how many slokas Charan has learned, as well as encouraging Krishna Priya to learn the art of cooking, just like our mother. In conclusion, the only thing we can say about you, Maharaj, is that no matter how long and eloquently we may try to explain your glories, we can never ever hope to describe your personality completely. All we can do is hope for your mercy and guidance. In this regard, Gurudev, I have one final plea. May Krishna give you a long life so you can continue to inspire the world through your dynamic preaching and powerful character. Indeed, I beg that your life be long enough so you are at least able to initiate my children and grandchildren. That is my desire, aspiring to be the servant of your servants, Vimala Prasad Das, Lalita Devidasi, Bhakti Charan, and Krishna Priya.
Gaura Mantra Mataji.
Hare Krishna, dear Guru Maharaj. On this auspicious day, I wanted to take this opportunity and thank you for taking such an amazing care of me from the early age in my life. And today I was remembering how we for the first time met after 6 months of emailing each other. It was on a very chilly early morning in Omsk, Russia. We came just for a couple of days, and I went back there again. And when I peeked into the pandal, you were sitting at the very end, giving the class, and when you finished the class, you were walking down the alley, and everyone was paying your obeisances. I also was paying my obeisances, and as I was standing up, I saw you standing and looking at me. And you asked my name. I said, Christina. I said, Christina, where from? I said, Novosibirsk. He said, Christina. He did this gesture, and immediately showing that you recognized me. I was completely shocked by your memory, how you could remember such an insignificant person. And today I just wanted to read something that I wrote for you, a small poem about you, to my dear spiritual father and master. Haha Prabhu Korodoya, you're the best solicitor and lawyer, reclaiming back on fallen angels, the soldier guru, so courageous. Blowing up your thunder voice, you set us free from all false toys. To see Paramatma is not your goal, pure love of Godhead you travel to bestow. But twisting communist law, your pure love unlocked the door. The Gitas broke in through the curtain, devotees' ecstasy was certain. The tears froze to their cheeks, nothing could stop them, even politics. Hiding in alleys and streets in the snow, their stamina spirit enchanted your soul. Titanic sank, not Jaladuta, to gift us Bali, Matsya, Sutta. You drank the nectar of the pages, and even sacrificed your wages. Lord Kapila, Gita, SSR will tell people who they really are. You pray for them to take it up. This knowledge practice cannot stop. Each morning, evening, and night, this spiritual warrior is going to fight. For the sake of knowledge, freedom, virtue, rises his majestic statue. Across the mountains, oceans, seas, the black swan glides to feed the needs of hard-baked Kali Yuga creatures. You awaken their dormant features. Against all vices, problems, and sins, the knight bravely fights by righteous means. You are, in all unis well known, Toronto, London, Melbourne. Impressed by your wonderful speeches, professors and students are speechless. Dogs, cats, camels, and asses, unique one who human body possesses. Your mercy, kindness are causeless, enough to flood entire cosmos. Yasya Devapara Bhaktir, the Vedic imports are revealed to one who makes the Guru proud, lives in line with what's allowed. I just wanted to fish on. From the sunrise to the dawn, disciples paying back the loan. I'll mix in my tiny endeavors, trying to change on all the levels. Without you, I cannot sing, for wings are granted by the King, the Tsar who conquered hearts of all. I chant for him and give it all. And I just wanted to give you a small gift. I just made some pictures from the book distribution. It's for you.
Ram Hari Prabhu.
Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my most humble obeisances at your lotus feet. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories unto you on this most auspicious occasion of Vyasa Puja. Shastras explain that misusing our independent free will out of separate desire and envy towards the Supreme Lord, jivas fall down to material existence and come under the grip of illusory energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. When I try to really understand the nature of this disease condition and the magnitude which translates to millions and millions of lifetimes, from Lord Brahma to insignificant ant, in which I have been trying to imitate Krishna in innumerable ways and lord over the material nature, it is most humiliating. But our only hope in this Kali Yuga is the transcendental spiritual society of ISKCON, established so painstakingly with inconceivable determination and sacrifice of Srila Prabhupada, and the mission carried through the parampara of surrendered disciples like you. In this day, we recollect all your personal sacrifices in your Guru's mission, because of which we all have been benefited eternally in innumerable ways. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprasnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattadarshinaha. Bhagavad Gita chapter 4, text 34. It is said, one has to approach a bona fide spiritual master to receive the knowledge. Such a spiritual master should be accepted in full surrender, and one should serve the spiritual master like a menial servant, without false prestige. Satisfaction of the self-realized spiritual master is the secret of advancement in spiritual life. Out of all the verses given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the form of Shikshashtakam, this verse was considered most important and the essence of all other verses. Trunadapi sunichena tarodapi sahisnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street.
One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respects to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. In explaining this verse in a lecture by His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, he was mentioning that chanting without this proper attitude is like firing blank bullets. It produces the same sound, but is not truly the same as holy name chanted with the right attitude. Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado yasya prasada nagati kutopi. Dayan suvam yashastri sandhyam vande guru shri charanaravendam. By the mercy of the spiritual master, one receives the benediction of Krishna. Without the grace of the spiritual master, one cannot make any advancement. Therefore, I should always remember and praise the spiritual master. At least 3 times a day, I should offer my respectful obeisance under the lotus feet of my spiritual master. Your Holiness is exemplifying what it means to be in unconditional love of Guru and Krishna, and your ecstatic laughs and kirtans are oceans of nectar in which I long to be drowned again and again eternally. My prayer to your lotus feet is for me to be constantly engaged in serving your Sankirtan mission, life after life, trying to be a true servant. Ram Haridas.
Mujukunda Prabhu.
Dear Gurudev, I say public speaking is the greatest fear, but I think speaking before you is way more scary because you're on the same platform of God. So, Sakshat Hiridvain Asamasta Sastra. So I just wanted to say something from the heart. So thank you so much for your guidance. For if it wasn't for your guidance, I don't know where I'd be. I feel the real offering is in our lifestyle. So I'm trying to serve you every day, trying to follow your instructions. Recently at the Otaki retreat, I was very inspired by a certain kirtan where all the devotees were, it was really ecstatic, and then you just started laughing, and I thought you were laughing at me, but I didn't care if you were laughing at me. I just was inspired that you were smiling in my direction. So I feel like very inspired just to know that if you're pleased by my efforts in Krishna consciousness. This year I'm aspiring to be a better devotee and more chaste to your instructions. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Next is Nityananda Priya Prabhu. He's a well-wisher, but very close and dear to Guru Maharaj.
Dear Devamrita Swami, please accept my humble obeisances at your lotus feet. I come from a background where, stars and film stars are really worshipped. And for some reason, for various reasons, which are your qualities, I am a die-hard fan of yours. Your elegance, your graveness, your sense of humor, your gentle and sensitive nature, your mind-blowing presentations with your ability to engage guests in various kinds of discussions and bringing out their misconceptions and taking them to very conclusive philosophical points in Krishna consciousness. Your royal yet humble demeanor, your ability to bring out the best in others, and especially your ability to bring to us emotionally so close to the various pastimes of Srimad Bhagavatam that you explain, your discipline, your regulation, your physical regime, All these and more qualities have made me and all our family your sold out fan. But what is more wonderful than this is this yourself, whom we are fan of, is so easily giving shelter, care and support to whoever comes to meet you. I have been witness to so many incidences. There are people who come and ask you for, mention so many problems in their life. Later on you discuss their problems, you don't even remember their names, but you may or may not remember their names, but you remember their problems few days later and you wish to solve their problems. Personally myself, in many occasions, difficult times, you have remembered my situation. And this was in Brisbane. You were about to leave to the airport. Your car was surrounded by so many of the disciples and the devotees from the temple, and we were standing a little far. Just before getting into the car, you looked up and you loudly said to us, Krishna takes care of his preachers, and your such support is our life. Your ability to engage crooked and crackpots like us in the service of Krishna consciousness and making us success is really amazing. And personally to me, yourself have been very loving, caring, and a very sensitive uncle who has made me presentable, acceptable in front of my own father, His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj. Thank you.